Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, starting a new series that will go in tandem with my devlogs as I start on my really large project that I have not given a code name to because I have an actual name for it, but we will call it TLCOA. Um, so, in this week's videos of series, we will be uh, going over landscapes, materials, world partition, and HLODs. I'm not claiming to be an expert in the last two, but I do know enough to get an amazing result as far as frame rates go when working in large worlds. As you can see, well, it's kind of hard to tell at the moment, that, but this is a very large world. And it appears that I'm getting 40 frames per second. However, if you are wanting to test what is going to be more closely related to the frame rate in a game, you want a standalone game. So, the first time you go to play, you need to check mark that, and then it'll change the icon so it's always standalone. So let's go ahead and pop that open so you can see what the actual frame rate is. Here we go. So as you can see here, things are loading in as I'm moving, of course, but we've got a very decent frame rate. Very something decent to start with, and I can see off the distance because of HLODs, and you can see that I'm pretty crazy with my world size. And that's exactly my intent and what I wanted to do. So, I did this in a separate project. That's why it says _world. That way I can make sure everything I'm doing is kosher and I don't accidentally push something that I'm not ready to push, because I have a bad habit of just pushing everything I'm working on to my Perforce server. So I will be doing this in a separate project. And in this specific video, we're going to be going over the landscapes. Now, I myself use World Creator. So for those hoping to learn secrets and whatnot for what's what I'm looking for molding the landscape into looking as beautiful and dynamic as that, I can't help you with that. However, what I can do is point out that I do have here Wonderscape stamps, where I do have over 100 high quality stamps. I do have more. I just haven't taken the time, or had the time, honestly, to push them all up into my server so that I can get them out to the public. And they give a whole bunch of shapes. As you can see, got a lot of beautiful curvatures and shapes and mountains and all that jazz. So now that I'm done with my shameless plug, we are going to go ahead and open up a new level. As you can see, now we are in TLCOA. Come over here, new level. I like to start with an empty open world. Now, I'm going to be using Ultra Dynamic Sky. But for those that don't own it or own something else, go ahead and utilize that. For those that don't own anything, Epic does have their very own cool little simple tools that do the job well enough. So you just go to the Environment Light Mixer, click each of these buttons here, and it'll populate the world for you, and you won't have to do anything. As for me, I'll just be dragging this in there. Ultra Dynamic Sky is just something that just really good ways, and I just always have 5 minutes to load everything up. I am, recording and have two projects currently open. Don't worry, in the next episode they won't be, so it won't be taking so long. As you can see, things, there we go. Everything's popping in. All right. So, first thing you're going to notice in All right. So first thing you're going to notice in an open world is no loaded regions. That's fine. Not a big deal. First thing we're going to do, save current level. So, I'm going to keep everything in here, your folder. I'm going to name this folder levels. It's important to keep everything structured and organized so that you're not looking everywhere for everything. And I'm just going to call this but underscore TLCOA. That way, if I'm looking for something, I can just do that. Save. All right. Now that that is saved, we want to first make sure that everything is good. I'm going to open it back up. All right. Everything still populated. The reason I did that is sometimes when you've added everything in here the first time before you've saved the level, and then you go and open it again, all of this stuff is gone. World dynamic sky for me, everything that's would have been populated except for data layers and partition. Excuse me. That's generally the case for me, so I like to double check so that I'm not coming back into a dark level. Not that it matters, really. Anyways, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to add our first landscape. So you go up here to the selection mode, select on landscape, and you have all of these cool little features. We're going to go to import from file, because as I said, I have 4 of them. And I don't know where, I think they're right here. There we go. Awesome. So mine, first one is called With Rivers because, I was testing out a bunch of stuff in World Creator because they've added a bunch of new stuff. And I'm going to hit open. And you're going to see things here populated. Now, a couple of things here that are mandatory for each one, and then things that I did specifically for myself. The thing that I did specifically for myself is I increased the size of this by 25%. I wanted it a little bit larger. It felt right at that size for what I was doing, so that's what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, the height needs to be 65 to be correct. All right. And then my location and my other one right there. Oh, right. No, that's right. I want you right here. I forgot I need to change it after because, and it's important to know, the location here is here directly in the center, but once it's populated, it's going to be in the corner. So yeah, don't do what I just did. Anyways, so as you can see right now, we have 4,000 components, and that's fine if you want it. For 4,033 by 4,033, that is quite a few components. Now, messing with the section size, that can be iffy, especially depending on the resolution of your landscape. I tend to keep things as optimized as possible according to Unreal Engine standards. That way, if something breaks or isn't working as expected, I can blame them. So there is documentation on landscape sizes. Just Google Unreal Engine landscape sizes, and it's usually the first link. But anyways, to minimize this, we're going to go to 2x2. And then, as you can see, it changed the resolution. It doubled it so that it can continue to have that many components. As you can see, there's a lot of flatness now. We don't want that. So we will now reduce these to 32 by 32. Now it is back to the exact same size. There's no extra components going on here. And we're at 1,024 components. An amazing little optimization trick right there. The next thing we're going to want to do is not an optimization trick, but is a must, is here in the world partition grid size and region size. Now, This number right here absolutely has to match this number right here. Well, it absolutely cannot be lower, is what I should say. Because with it being at 16 right now, when it's populated, it would only be showing this corner of the world. Everything else would just be perfectly flat. We need to delete everything and do it over again. So make sure this is at least 32. And you'll see that nothing changed, and that's fine. If I change this to 4, you'll see that the yellow line has changed. And it's really up to you how you do this. Usually keep it at the power of 4. But I'm going to keep mine at 2. And it's just what feels right for me. And I have my own materials that I'll be using. Another shameless plug here. As you guys probably saw, I use this right here. I'll briefly show some of it off real quick. Not much, because that is several videos in and of itself. I add a whole bunch of new nodes that you can, find and utilize to your heart's content, that allow you to create your world exactly how you want. And then, where the physical material stuff goes, and the grass nodes, that stuff we'll be going over in the weeks to come. But anyways, this is what I will be using. So first things first, this is the main one. So the reason I was looking for it is so that I could put that right there. And then I'm going to go down here to layers. And the first one I'm going to care about, hit plus here. Normal is what we want. Biome 01 layer info, save. That's as I said, the only one I care about at this moment. So let's go ahead and double check everything is where and how it should be. And then you hit import. Now, if you hit fit to data, it's going to change the number of components and overall resolution back to what it was. And obviously that's not what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and let this thing go. And as soon as everything pops back up, everything will be brought back to normal time. All right. As you can see now, we have this beautifully black landscape. That's not what we're going for, of course. So if we come over here to paint with whatever material you have chosen to utilize, you just right click on the layer you want to use and hit fill layer. And let that do its thing. Now, you may notice that there is no auto material layer here. I have found that for optimization purposes, unless it's, an endless world, generally speaking, hand painting will be cheap enough in the long run to be worth not having too much auto-ness to it. As you can see, I do have some. I have cliff and dirt, rock, cliff, dirt, and then the biome. If you're wondering what materials, what textures I use, I just went into bridge and utilized those. For now, that is what I will be doing. For those new to landscape, if it's showing red, that's because you're highlighting a material that does not have one of these in it. So, if I select this one now, it's now white. It's not going to do anything because everything is already this. Now, before we go on to doing the other landscapes, at which point I will time lapse that so that you guys don't have to sit here and drone off while I do all of that at once, I want to change the fog to fit my world. Now, for you guys, it's exceptional height fog. If you're wanting to mimic what I did, I don't know if it's going to permanently stay like this, but it's certainly what I'm doing for now. It mirrors Elden Ring, essentially. So fog density is at 10. Fog height is at 1.6. The reason I showed that is because once this is done, an ultra dynamic sky, I have to go through the details panel to find the fog. 1 second. All right, make sure that I turn off auto fog. I mean, not auto fog, auto save in the future, because that was ridiculous. So those that have ultra dynamic sky, you can get the same thing here by going to hide fog. 10. Oh, that's right. You can do it all in here. So fog. I think it's this. Looks like it is. And then the other thing was fall off. Or they might not have fall off. Let's find out. Yeah, they have to have fall off because nothing's changing here. Come on now. Maybe I don't need the fog at 10. All right, just putting down to 6 really helped. Oh, okay. Whoops. Yeah, I didn't need it at 10. Good to know. Interesting. Let's go over here to fog height. So I can just move that. Sorry, it's been a while since I've messed with Ultra Dynamic Sky. But it is what it is. As you can see here, now we have this beautiful-esque landscape to start with. And these clouds that are somewhat in the way. And that's fine. We'll go over in the future how we can make it to where when we're over them, we see them, instead of what's going on now. They're there. It's just for optimization reasons, you can't see through them. Or you can see through them. So, I'm going to go ahead and time lapse the rest of these islands, and then I will be right back with you. All right, now that we're done with all of that, as you can see here, we've got ourselves our beautiful, beautiful setup here. Wanted to make sure that mountain snowy region was considerably higher still. That obviously needs to be painted. Snow caps here need to be painted. One thing we will do in this video before ending is this obnoxious glob right here. So the reason I did that is this landscape itself is, as you can see, relatively flat. And the reason why I had this here is so that this didn't stretch astronomically, or so that I didn't have to shrink it to the point to where whichever is the highest point is the highest point. I didn't want to do that because if I decide I want to add a random lonely mountain in here and hit the stamps, then it won't go. It'll cut off into a straight line because that's its max height. I wanted there to be some space there. So let's go ahead and real quick. Let's see, I need the fog. I want to make sure I copy this so I can put it back. Put you all the way down. Then we're just going to come back into landscape here. And we want to make sure we are in 2. I'll be renaming these in a minute so that it's easier to know. And then just come to sculpt and flatten. Make this brush big. And there we go. There. And that's that. So now everything is set how it needs to. Now, optimization wise, down the road, I'll be removing sections here that way, because fewer components means less is being rendered. Well, not necessarily rendered, but less is being stored in memory and whatnot. That way things go as intended and planned. So let me go ahead and put that fog back real quick, and then we will do a quick showing of what the frames look like. Paste. There we go. Got this all back how we wanted it. Perfect. All right, so now, as you can see right now, it's just the regular play. I come over here, standalone game. Obviously, it's going to make you save. I'm sure you guys saw me go into the editor preferences. I was tired of it saving and deciding to save while it was trying to do a landscape. So I went ahead and turned autosave off because that just astronomically added a crap ton of time. So while this is all loading up, we'll go ahead and speak up about what's going to happen in the next episode. In the next episode, I'll paint the areas that need to be painted. I'll also go over some of the things that I'm doing directly within my material instances, because there are some color alterations that need to be made, specifically in the desert region, because despite the fact that there's going to be a lake there, the grass shouldn't be so lusciously green like it is here, at least in my world. And don't worry, we'll make sure that I specify what is mine specifically for my materials so that you guys don't have to go, you're not going looking for it, wondering why it's not working. All right, so Control R. Here we are. As you can see, a lot of big holes, and that's fine. This will be extended when we mess with world partition, which we will do after we get H-lots built up. But as you can see, the frame rate is still where it was. All right. So I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for watching. Again, next episode, we'll be going over materials, painting methods, um, and then the episode after that, we'll deal with HLODs and world partition. I will see you guys in the following episode.